All right, so this is a suggestion via a channel member. Guys, let's jump into it.
On Mamdani as New York City mayor, already sparking an exodus out of New York even before he's sworn in. Florida's real estate market reportedly seeing a reported $100 million boom as wealthy New Yorkers look to escape higher taxes and other promised socialist policies. In 2023, more than 7 million Americans moved to a different state, many of those headed south. In that year, Florida added over 136,000 residents alone. More than 71 of the...
Okay, this had nothing to do with Mamdani, right? Just period. Understand what was going on at this time here. No one wanted another, 19 incident, let's say, to happen here, guys. So everyone, what did they do? They were leaving. They were like, I'm not staying in a house, bro. You crazy?
1,000 of those came from New York. Joining me now is Miami Mayor Francis Suarez. Mr. Mayor, great to see you this morning. Thanks so much for being here.
Great to be with you, Maria.
So what has happened in Miami and in Florida as a result of these socialist policies in New York? And do you expect a spike once Mamdani gets in place?
Definitely. So
I think Mamdani might replace de Blasio as the realtor of the year in Miami. And yes, I do. I expect there to be anywhere from a 20% to as high as 40% spike based on, people at the top end of the wealth pyramid who
exclusively
of course,
those
don't want to be
people
taxed any more than they're already being taxed. I think they're being taxed over 50% of their wealth right now, of their income, which means that the government is your partner and you're the silent partner. And then I think people of the Jewish faith, from what I'm hearing, who feel very, very comfortable in Miami, are also, I think, thinking about leaving. So you're talking about two distinct groups, which make up a significant part of the tax base of New York. It will create what I call a death spiral, because it will create a budget deficit that will have to be filled with increasing taxes, which will create a bigger budget deficit, which will have to be increased, be filled with increasing taxes. So it creates a death spiral, and it could lead to a very, very sad situation in New York that hopefully doesn't happen, but it looks more and more likely every day.
Yeah, guys, the problem is, listen, guys, I'm from New York, right? And I can definitely tell you this right now. The majority of people living in Manhattan that would be specifically under his reign of terror, let's say, a lot of those people can't afford to, they can basically afford to live in Manhattan, right? And the fact that they are still living in, any of the boroughs, it basically only means one thing here. They're not basically paying taxes anyway. Don't get me wrong here. They're paying their W-2 taxes. What I mean by paying taxes is paying taxes like the people who are basically going to be targeted. All right. They're paying copious amounts of money, unnecessarily high amounts of money for literally nothing that changes their day, if that makes any sense here, guys. Right? So if I were them, I would run as far as I possibly can from the state of New York. I definitely would not say Florida, right? I understand why people want Florida, right? But those HOAs basically offset, it's basically offsetting nearly everything. But either way, you're going to be paying similar money anyway.
How have you managed this spurt of new people coming into Miami?
We've tried to grow our way out of it. I mean, we have built significantly. Since I became mayor, our tax base was $40 billion. This is a combination of property value increases and new construction. It is now $132 billion. So it's a 300% increase in just about the time that I've been mayor. So we've had to supply our way through it. We can grow 10 times larger than what we are based on our zoning code. So we're going to continue to grow. To try to keep prices as low as we possibly can and meet the demand that's inevitable. The one thing that we do struggle with, and we're going to have to find ways to solve, is the demand for schools. Obviously, in particular, people coming from New York, have high-end demands. Our public school system is doing phenomenally well. I just interviewed Jeff Bezos, who's a product of our public school system, obviously the founder of Blue Origins and also, of course, Amazon. So we have a good public school system, but our private school system is having a hard time keeping up with the growth and the demands.
It's incredible to me that you're being forced to manage all these new services and accommodate so many new people coming in. And do you expect that New York loses people because of this new leadership?
Unfortunately, I think it's inevitable, Maria, and I think it's sad. What we do in Miami is frankly what every city in America should do. We do three things, and we do three things well. We keep taxes low. We keep people safe. We have record low homicide rates this year. and we lean into American innovation. So we brought companies that manage over 30.
Record low compared to what exactly, bro? You understand where Hialeah is, right? That is absolute trash, guys. All right. The rates of crime specifically in that region is wild. All right, Little Haiti, Dade County, guys, are you crazy? Like, what are we comparing the crime rate to exactly, guys? Another city in Florida?
$15 trillion in assets. We've increased our venture capital pipeline by over 500%. We were ranked #1 in the nation for tech job growth and tech job migration. We have the lowest unemployment in America, less than 2%, and the highest median wage growth in America. So people are doing better. They're more prosperous in Miami than they've ever been before. And the lowest homeless rate in 11 years, which is
because they're already rich,
blue cities are struggling with.
Well, look, you've done an incredible job as mayor. Congratulations, Mayor Suarez. Everybody wants to know what you're going to do next now that your term is coming to an end. Should we expect you to join the Trump administration in some form?
Well, listen, I have a great relationship with the president. He just came to Miami for the America Business Forum that I led. We are hopefully going to give him a wonderful presidential library. I gave him the keys to the presidential library in Miami. And so, we have a great relationship. Obviously, I respect him. I think he's done a phenomenal job on world affairs. And if there's a way for me to serve the country and help him with his agenda, certainly I would strongly consider it. It's hard to say no to the big guy, when he calls you. But he's become a very good friend. I admire him. I love his personality, his energy, the way he manages things, his outside the box thinking, and his approach to domestic and foreign affairs. He's had one of the most consequential presidencies in our history, really, and certainly in my lifetime. So it would be something that would obviously be interesting to me, someone who's dedicated basically my whole life to public service, too.
Well, he's also used economic levers to prioritize growth in the U.S. Now, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis is pushing to eliminate property taxes in the state for homestead or primary residence. He's urging lawmakers to back it up with a constitutional amendment on the 2026 ballot. What are your thoughts on
now that would
changing
do
the tax structure in Florida
a lot,
to keep this wave of new people coming in?
Yeah, like that would change things
Look,
pretty
obviously,
drastically for me personally.
Too, right? So I would love to not have to pay property taxes on my primary residence. For a city like Miami, for primary residence, it's about 10% of the budget. So it would require us to shave about 10% of the budget. Obviously, the last thing I want to do is cut wages for my police officers or my firefighters, or reduce my police force or my fire department, particularly my police department.
Because you need that desperately
incredible
there.
Gains in terms of homicide reduction. When I got in as mayor, we're a little bit over 83. Last year, we're at 27. Our lowest ever in history was 24, and our highest ever is 220. So we definitely don't want to defund our police. We don't want to do anything that reduces, resources for our police department. But I do think that people deserve tax relief. I do think that, you can probably get by with 90% of the revenue by implementing efficiency measures. So it'll be interesting to see if it gets on the ballot. I'm sure it'll be a very popular measure. I certainly would vote for it as a resident, for sure. Also,
Governor DeSantis' final year in the governor's mansion. Close to 30 candidates now vying for that job. Florida Congressman Byron Donalds joined the race back in February, earning President Trump's endorsement. He raised more than $31 million so far. But now 30-year-old DeSantis ally and investor James Fishback signaling he will launch his own campaign. He says he wants to build on Governor DeSantis' historic record, boost affordability, and favor American citizens over illegals. But Politico is reporting that a Trump strategist calls it foolish to run against Byron Donalds, adding Byron has the trust and support of President Trump, a massive war chest, and the entire MAGA movement lined up behind him. Mayor Suarez, what is your reaction to this now increasing race to become governor of Florida?
Yeah, I kind of agree with that commentator. I agree that it's really going to be really hard to beat, Byron Donalds with the president's support, with the war chest he has, with the MAGA community. He's gone on, both conservative and more liberal stations to defend the MAGA agenda. He's paid his dues in that respect. I don't know who this other person is. Obviously, people like Vivek Ramaswamy, people in business, young people in business have had success in politics, and it's great that they do it. You know what I mean? It's obviously great to have people in business who have been successful run for office. I do believe in that. Rick Scott was a very successful businessman. He became governor. He's now a U.S. senator. But I do think that Byron has the inside track, and I don't see that changing between now and the nomination.
I agree with that. Yeah, the final statement here, I agree with that completely. I don't think that there's an issue here. I think he's going to sweep the floor, guys. Personally, all right. But here's the thing, guys. When it comes down to Florida specifically, I'm kind of like all over the place. Florida is a very tricky place to specifically go there, unless you have a lot of money, and I mean to the point where we're like a $10,000 rent doesn't affect you, if that makes any sense here, guys, right? Or you have the ability to purchase property. Understand this here. There are going to be a lot of people leaving Manhattan who are not even going to be able to afford that $10,000 for rent. Okay, I think that's going to be the reality here. Now, there will be some people who are like 100 millionaires who have multiple properties in multiple places, and moving to Florida, a place that has a massive problem insuring homes because of the climate, right? I'm not sure that's a great idea there, guys. And again, guys, look at the stats really quickly, hearing what this guy's saying here, because I know, guys, Florida is okay, right? But you have to understand this here, that like specifically when it comes down to Miami, at least, right? Miami is is the 73rd most dangerous place in America. Basically, that's those are the numbers, guys. So I don't know, guys. I mean, they have a wild crime rate there. So I'm wondering, like, what exactly are you comparing the safety of Miami to? But I don't know. Listen, if you're making a copious amount of money, Miami's a perfect place for you. But if you're a regular person who just so happens to, I don't know, make $300,000 a year or so in Manhattan, and you're living in an area that is highly, European, basically, right? Mamdani already has said that he's going to target anything that has like a gigantic quantity of white people, basically. Like if you're making money and you're white, you're the direct target. I can imagine how you would then say in your head, you know what, listen, it's time to go somewhere else. And for some reason, a lot of people are definitely talking about Florida lately. Again, I'm not a fan, right? Too many issues there, guys. The insurance is definitely going to be one of them. Number two is going to be the income tax thing. I like the fact that there's no income tax. I do, right? But they definitely get their money in other ways, right? So just understand you're still paying it. It's just a different name. But all right, listen, guys, you guys all have an absolutely amazing day. Enjoy your day. Not really. Guys, do you want to watch movies with me? I never actually thought to like promote it over here, guys. But if you guys do want to watch it, guys, we have hundreds of movies, and I mean hundreds of movies that we've reacted to. You guys can come watch them with me if you want to, along with many TV shows. Currently, we're working on the show Dexter, along with Vikings, and we have a lot of series that are already completed. But if you guys do want to watch it with me, the link is in the description. Everything's available at the second tier. But of course, if that's not your thing, guys, don't worry. Right? Listen, like and subscribe.